Hello guys, and this time we'll be reviewing the Star Wars Dark Forces Remaster. I used to play this game quite a bit when I was a kid, hungry for more FPS games back in the early 90s when they were all still referred to as Doom clones. And even by that metric, Dark Forces was pretty unique. It's not merely a Doom clone with a Star Wars skin. Plenty of shooters at the time had you running and gunning against a 1-2 sentence backdrop of a story, but Dark Forces was one of the first to have an ongoing story throughout the game, with voice dialogue, character development, in-game conversations, cutscenes, and mission objectives. On a technological level, this game Jedi engine could also do things that the Doom engine could not, such as having the multiple floors overlapping the same sectors, and with dynamic elements to boot. This opened up the level design to do a lot of interesting things with the vertically and in-game puzzles that was simply unprecedented. Dark Troopers also made their debut here, for those of you who may only be familiar with them from the Mandalorian. The remaster itself is very well done. It remains faithful to the original game while providing some nice quality of life improvements such as free roam mouse aiming, a staple of very modern FPS that didn't exist back then. The graphics and cutscenes look great, while still maintaining their 90s feel. For some reason, though, the well-known slow iceberg in the level 8 is still present in this remaster, which is very strange. It has to do with how the game ties ice mechanics to processor speed. This bug really should have been removed. This remaster is a stunning piece of work, from Night Dive and I tip my hat to them for creating such a faithful presentation of the game for modern hardware. The new texture work and the hardware rendering is really sharp and it plays like a dream. I highly recommend checking out the Digital Foundry video on YouTube, which showed the multitude of the limitations that the team had to deal with the wishlist, retaining the classic feel of the game. The cutscenes now are especially impressive with the super sharp visuals and gorgeous artwork of the spirits. Even the 3D sequences got a full rework. I've seen some reviewers critiquing the price point, which you can understand to a point in the current economic climate. However, to sell something like this, with all the works it's going in making it happen for any less, would probably not be economically feasible for a studio level project. They really have done an excellent job with it, so if you're a fan of the original, I highly recommend purchasing it. Dark Forces will of course feel dilated by today's standards, as the genre has since evolved multiple times over. It's definitely raw around the edges in many ways. The maze-like levels are a staple of early FPS games, but that also means it can be easy to get lost. The puzzles are neat, but they can sometimes bring the gameplay loop to have how the player gets dumped to where they can progress without looking up a guide. All in all, however, I think this is a solid remaster of the game that has an important place in video game history, and it's worth experience whether you're an FPS veteran returning to this game with nostalgia goggles or a newbie who just wants to see what it's all about. My main complaint about this game is of course the price. I get it, but still $30 is painful for the game you can finish at under 5 hours. On the other hand, I'm happy to support the studio if it means we get a remaster of Jedi Knight Dark Forces 2 someday.